The Ravens restructure Roquan Smith's contract and clear quite a bit of cap space. We'll talk about what that could mean. Madubuike returned to practice today, but Likely and Ricard are still out. We got more bulletin board material as Grant Delpit said Derrick Henry is not hard to bring down. We hear from Todd Monken today on improving in the red zone. We also hear from Marlon, Humphrey, and Zach Orr on the defense not being mature enough and what they need to improve on moving forward. All that and more in today's episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. We'll start with practice today. Madubuike did return to practice, which is no surprise. Harbaugh said that he's not dealing with anything serious, and they expected him back today, but he did return to practice. Jair also still at practice, and the same guys are not at practice, and that's Isaiah Likely and Pat Ricard. So most likely those guys are not playing again this week in Cleveland. I do expect to see Likely back pretty soon, though, so probably week 3, Monday night against Detroit. We'll see if Ricard can get back to practice, but those guys are probably not going to play against Cleveland. In other news, the Ravens cleared $8 million in cap space today. They restructured Roquan Smith's contract, and it looks like they converted $12 million of his $15 million base salary into a bonus, creating that $8 million in cap space. Roquan was always one of the candidates to restructure his deal. He has one of the bigger deals on the team. And now the question is, why did you clear $8 million in cap space? You know, I get clearing a little bit of flexibility, a couple million, but $8 million is an aggressive clear. So that tells me that either the Ravens are planning to make a move, whether that be a trade or bring in a veteran, although a veteran wouldn't cost that much. Just say we bring in a Clowney. I know he was visiting with the Cowboys yesterday, but that didn't lead to a deal, so he's still out there. Let's just say the Ravens are interested in bringing Clowney back. That shouldn't even be close to $8 million at this point, so I'm not sure if they were just trying to create more flexibility for down the road, maybe near the trade deadline, they want to make an aggressive move, or if they already have a move in mind. But regardless, that is an aggressive clear. $8 million during the season all of a sudden. We had a little bit less than $1 million in cap space, so I'm sure they did want some breathing room there. But $8 million is quite a bit of breathing room. So it just gets my wheels turning, like, what move do the Ravens and Eric DeCosta have up their sleeve to make this roster even better? I'm not sure what the Ravens' interest level is, but I do think bringing back Jadeveon Clowney does make some sense. I mean, vet presence, great at stopping the run. We could always use another pass rush body. We're not even activating David Ojabo. I don't know if they're going to activate him for some games. I'm sure they will, but regardless, the fact that he was an inactive in week 1 tells me that he's not very high on the coach's totem pole there. I don't think he's going to be activated week after week. So bringing in a guy like Clowney does make sense. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. What would you do? We just got $8 million in cap space. I know you don't go blow it all right away. You want to maintain some flexibility, but you don't need $8 million of flexibility throughout the season unless you're going to make another move. So it does get my wheels turning. Like, what are the Ravens up to? Turning the attention back to Cleveland a little bit, the Ravens are getting some more bulletin board material. Grant Delpit in his press conference was asked how hard it is to tackle Henry, and he said, not hard. And then I saw the quote, I saw it typed out. I was like, did he really say that? Like, is there a video of this? And there is.
Not hard.
Grant, going back to that, we saw it last year. You obviously were afraid in that first matchup to take him on.
Yeah.
So where does that come from? Is that a mindset?
We're playing football, man. It's tackle football. Somebody got the ball, you got to bring them down.
Hard to tackle, and do you have a reaction to that?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw his coach had a tweet, a quote, and he had a quote. Let's go Sunday.
I don't know why the Browns are acting like they have some huge advantage or that we present zero challenges. I think that's the worst mentality to come into the game with, especially with the Ravens coming off a loss. It's not like the Ravens are riding high and feel invincible. It's the opposite of that. This defense has something to prove. And you got Jerry Jeudy over there saying the secondary presents no challenges at all. And now you got Grant Delpit saying Derrick Henry's not even hard to tackle. I mean, that's just crazy, man. That's just crazy. Keep saying saying it, though, man. Keep talking, because I'm telling you, the Ravens are coming out pissed off on Sunday, and I'm expecting a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. Week 2 of the NFL season is here. Football is back, baby, and this year, I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you guys an incredible offer. New customers bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's right, just bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Just make sure when you're signing up to use my promo code TFR. Speaking of the defense, Marlon Humphrey was very honest in the locker room yesterday and said that Harbaugh addressed the team and said that the defense is just not mature enough, and he agreed with that, and that they just aren't mature enough to finish games. And then Zach Orr talked today. He was asked about that Marlon Humphrey comment, and he said he agrees.
I think it goes kind of to what Harb's addressing the team meeting. He said, we're just not mature enough as a team yet. I think it's very clear we got great players on both sides of the ball, but defensively, we have to work on our maturity too. Doesn't matter what our offense is doing. Doesn't matter what Lamar, we have to go out there and win the game. And right now our maturity level right now is, sadly, when we get in those situations, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique. I mean, honestly, it's a week-to-week league. So, yeah, last week, I mean, the film, the game showed it. We weren't mature. We weren't mature enough to close out that game. Was I surprised by it? Yeah, I was. But I think the guys responded the right way with it. Guys owned it. Which is good, and we looked at what we need to get correct, and we've had 2 great days of practice so far this week. So I'm excited for the opportunity to come again because, like I said, it's a week-to-week league. So what happened last week really doesn't matter what's going to happen this week.
Zach, another thing that Marlon had said was, we're not going to be repeat offenders. That message is, we're not going to be as patient. Zach Orr's not going to be as patient as it was last year. How have you gotten that message across, and is that also accurate?
That's definitely accurate, man. We just, like I said, it's a team right here, man. We all about being upfront honest with each other, and we know it wasn't good enough from all ends, coaches and players from the defensive side, and we're gonna do things that's gonna help us get it right, and the players and coaches that's gonna be here are the ones that's gonna do it the right way. So it was a good message. It wasn't in a demeaning way. It was more of an encouraging way. That we looked at the film. Everybody knows what we got to do. It's small tweaks here and there, and a good team exposed it. So let's go do it.
I like that everybody from the players to the coaches is holding themselves accountable, keeping a high standard, but it is all just talk, until the Ravens go out there and put together a dominant defensive performance. I'm more worried about the defense, man. The offense has pretty consistently since last year been dominant game after game. Yeah, there's some holes in the offensive line. I know there's some weaknesses. No team's perfect, but the Ravens put up 40 points. The offense has been one of the best offenses in NFL history going back to last year. I trust that the offense is going to be able to put up enough points. We need to get back to that dominant defensive Ravens standard, man. Like, game in and game out. Teams should not be scoring. Teams should fear the Ravens defense, and it is the opposite of that. The pass rush isn't getting home consistently. The secondary's having absolute breakdowns and meltdowns at the end of the game. Zach Orr said that they wore out, which was surprising. He even said that he was surprised. He said that there was just so many snaps and they couldn't get off the field in the fourth quarter that the defense just wore down. So I love what everyone's saying. I think they're saying the right things. They have the right mindset, but it's about putting it into action. They got to go out there not only this Sunday against the Browns offense, who I don't think is unbelievable. It's not filled with a ton of weapons. Joe Flacco's not mobile like Josh Allen. I think the Browns don't present nearly as many challenges. So if the Ravens go out and have a dominant defensive day, that's a great start. But I also want them to follow that up against Detroit, against Kansas City after that, Houston, the Rams. I mean, the Ravens have a gauntlet of top offenses here, and we really can take all these words and put it to action. And I think that would change a lot of this narrative and momentum, because the narrative is what it is, right? Like, us fans and media or whoever can talk about whatever, but the reality is the players know it too. It's not just a narrative, it's fact. There is late game collapses too often. And until that gets corrected, I don't know if they're going to be able to change that mentality or the conversation. But as soon as they start to correct it game after game and they finish games and this isn't happening, I do think that there's a lot of consistency on the other side of that. You know, yes, they've struggled for a few years now finishing games, no doubt. You can't argue that. There has been some unbelievable coverage meltdowns at the end of games dating back to the last few years. But a couple times of finishing and getting over that hump, I think changes everything. And now all of a sudden you could be a consistent defense that has grown from those mistakes. I'm not saying that's guaranteed to happen, but I don't think they're far off from just turning the corner. It's not like the talent's the issue. I just really think that a couple finishes will change this. And if the Ravens can get over and through these speed bumps that they consistently keep putting in their own way, I think that they're going to be a really dominant team. Todd Monken spoke to the media today and talked about something that I haven't really spoke on enough, and that's the Ravens also finishing drives. You know, we talked about they scored 40 points, and this is a historic offense, and that's true, but where can the offense get better? Outside of couple spots on the offensive line, I think we can all agree on they can upgrade. I'm not saying they're the worst in the league or anything like that. I'm not saying the Ravens offensive line is terrible. I saw on Pat McAfee, AQ Shipley said the Ravens had the best offensive line in the league. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't think they're bad. You know, I just think there's some average holes on the offensive line. Every team probably has a lot of those. I'm just holding the standard higher because I think we can upgrade there. But outside of the offensive line, what can the Ravens offense improve on? And one thing they really can improve on is when they're marching down the field and they get in the scoring position, not starting to have a few mistakes that push them back to a long field goal. And I feel like that has happened going back to last year. The Ravens have, zipped up and down the field, but when you get to the 30-yard line, the 25-yard line, approaching the red zone or even in the red zone, don't have that holding penalty, don't have that missed block that Lamar takes a sack, or, there's just a lot of mistakes that I think that creep in there all of a sudden, and you're not finishing drives. And Todd Monken spoke on the importance of being more efficient in finishing these drives.
We got in the red zone and we had lost yardage plays. I mean, let's say it like it is. We had a 3rd and 2 on the very first drive, penalty, and then a lost yardage play, made a long field goal, and then right before half, we had the fumble that we lost 15 yards, basically took us out of everything after that was trying to get us in manageable field goal range, where at that moment when you talk about the swing before the half, it went from possible touchdown, now we have to get a field goal, and then they get a field goal coming back. That was huge. Now luckily to start the second half, we scored to kind of take that momentum back, but those were the things that we need to improve on, is when we get in the red zone, like we can't go backwards. I mean, we can't put ourselves in those positions where you've done everything right up until that point.
The NFL announced today that Lamar Jackson will have no disciplinary action from that fan interaction. I wasn't expecting any anyway. I would have been pissed if they did anything outside of a conversation. Team talked to him, Eric DeCosta talked to him, and the NFL's done with it, and they've banned that fan indefinitely as well, but Lamar is going to face no discipline. That's pretty much it from today. Game preview episode tomorrow. We'll dive into this Cleveland matchup in depth and just make the whole episode about the game and matchup on Sunday, but I wanted to come on here and just go over, what's going on today and the updates for the week. But let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. Podcast, the Flock Rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.